Dear friends, do you know what causes older adults to lose their independence the fastest? It's not heart disease. It's not memory loss. It begins the moment the legs start to weaken. You can't get up from a chair without help. You avoid going outside for fear of falling. You can no longer climb the stairs to your own bedroom. As your legs lose their strength, life slowly begins to shrink. Not because of illness, but because you no longer trust your body to carry you. Mr. Harold felt it one morning that seemed just like any other. He stood up from his chair, but his knees gave way. His body swayed unsteady. Mrs. Jean couldn't lift herself up. The 2 small steps to her front porch. The same porch where she used to carry heavy flower pots with ease. And Mr. Walter, who once hiked uphill to go fishing, now felt a deep ache in his legs after standing for just 10 minutes, as if his feet were weighed down by stones. No one had told them this. Weak legs aren't just about getting older. They're a sign your body is quietly running low on the nutrients it needs, and no one ever warned you. There are 6 essential vitamins, small and familiar, but they play a powerful role in keeping your legs strong after 60. No gym required, no harsh medications, just the right knowledge, the right nutrients, and the wisdom to listen when your body speaks. In this video, you'll hear more from Harold, Jean, and Walter, 3 real people on 3 very different paths. They didn't turn back time. They didn't run marathons. But they held on to something far more precious, the ability to stand tall on their own. Because strong legs don't just help you move farther. They help you live longer on your own terms. Part 2. Vitamin D. Mr. Harold and the journey to stand tall again. Mr. Harold never imagined there would come a day when he'd hesitate before standing up from his favorite living room chair, that old recliner he used to spring right out of it and stroll into the yard without thinking. But lately he had to press down with both hands, take a deep breath, and silently hope his knees wouldn't give out again. There was no sharp pain, no visible injury, just a strange sense of weakness, like the strength in his legs had quietly slipped away without him noticing. During a routine checkup, the doctor reviewed his blood work and asked, "Do you get outside in the sun often?" Harold chuckled. "I live in Florida. It's sunny all year." But the doctor shook his head. "It's not about whether the sun is shining. It's about whether your body still knows how to absorb it. As we age, our ability to convert sunlight into vitamin D declines sharply. And without enough vitamin D, our muscles and bones weaken quietly, turning simple acts like standing up walking or climbing stairs into daily challenges." Mr. Harold didn't make dramatic changes. He just started with a few small steps. Each morning he sat out on his porch for 15 to 20 minutes, letting the sunlight reach his skin. On cloudy days, he added a teaspoon of cod liver oil to his breakfast, a gentle but effective source of vitamin D3, the form that's easiest for the body to use. He also began eating more salmon eggs and drinking vitamin D-fortified milk a few times a week. After about a month, he no longer needed to push himself up with his hands. And the best part, I don't worry about falling anymore when I step out into the yard. That feeling of steadiness, I thought it was gone for good. Vitamin D is the gatekeeper of strong bones, healthy muscles, and steady balance. Without it, your legs weaken in silence, and you don't know why. With enough of it, you don't just rise more easily. You stand more confidently in your life. Part 3. Vitamin B12. Mrs. Jean and the nervous system secret behind balance. Mrs. Jean wasn't afraid of getting older. She was afraid of falling. Not because it would hurt, but because she might not be able to get back up. The first time it happened, she was watering her plants on the front porch. Just one simple turn. No uneven ground, no tripping hazard. Yet she collapsed like a door with a broken hinge. After that, she stopped going outside when no one was home. Even standing up from her chair, she reached out carefully, feeling for support. "It's not that I'm weak," she said. "I just don't trust my body to respond in time." Her daughter took her to the doctor. Everything looked fine. Her blood pressure was good. Her heart was strong. But the doctor suggested one more test, and the results revealed something unexpected. Mrs. Jean had a mild but meaningful vitamin B12 deficiency. Vitamin what she asked, surprised. She ate well. She drank milk. She even took supplements. But what she didn't know was that after age 60, the body becomes less efficient at absorbing B12, even when your diet is balanced. And when B12 runs low, the nervous system starts to misfire. There's a delay between your brain and your legs, a gap in the signal. Her symptoms were classic. Losing balance when standing up quickly, mild nighttime tingling in her feet, a floating sensation while walking, as if her body was moving without her full control. Like a phone with lagging service, but this time, it was her own body that couldn't catch up. Her doctor gave her a simple solution: a tablespoon of nutritional yeast daily, sprinkled on soup or porridge. It's rich in B12, easy to digest, and gentle on the body. After 3 weeks, Mrs. Jean noticed something, beautifully strange yet familiar. I stood up without thinking, she said. I just got up, like I used to. Vitamin B12 isn't a miracle cure, but it's the silent bridge between your brain and your muscles. Without it, you may still have strength, but your legs won't listen. With enough of it, you walk with confidence, without the fear of losing control. For Mrs. Jean, that wasn't just a step forward. It was the first step toward trusting her body again. Part 4. Vitamin C. Mr. Walter and the journey to soothe his morning knees. Mr. Walter never imagined that getting out of bed in the morning would become a challenge. He used to swing his legs over the side stand-up, head to the kitchen, and make his morning coffee, without a second thought. But recently he found himself pausing, at the edge of the bed, rubbing his knees, waiting a few minutes before standing. Every first step felt like walking on uneven wood. His knees crackled, as if the joints were about to come apart. I don't feel weak, he said. I just feel like my knees don't belong to me anymore. At his checkup, the doctor found no major inflammation, no visible injury. Then came a simple question. Are you getting enough vitamin C? Walter was taken aback. He always thought vitamin C was just for fighting colds. But the doctor explained that after age 60, vitamin C's most important role isn't immune defense. It's supporting connective tissues, especially collagen. Collagen acts like the glue that keeps your joints moving smoothly. And vitamin C is the key ingredient the body uses to produce it. Without enough, joints become stiff dry and slower to recover after movement. People with low vitamin C often feel dull joint pain, take longer to rise from a chair, or struggle with stairs, not because of broken bones, but because the glue has worn thin. Walter made a few simple changes. He started eating more oranges, kiwis, and strawberries. But what helped most was 1 tablespoon of acerola cherry, powder mixed into warm water each morning. This tiny fruit contains many times more vitamin C than oranges, and it's easy for older adults to absorb. After about 2 weeks, he no longer had to linger at the edge of the bed. His knees still made a soft popping sound, but there was no more pain. More importantly, he no longer braced himself for discomfort every time he wanted to walk out the door. Vitamin C doesn't cure disease, but it gives your body the building blocks that age quietly takes away. It softens what had become stiff, and it lets you rise each morning without having to wait for yourself to feel ready. For Mr. Walter, it wasn't just about easing knee pain. It was about beginning each morning with more ease and starting each day with the quiet hope that his legs were still ready to walk beside him. Part 5. Vitamin K. 2. Mr. Harold and the lesson of guiding calcium to the right place. After nearly 2 months of adjusting his lifestyle, Mr. Harold felt noticeably better. He could stand without wobbling. His legs weren't as tired, and each step felt more secure. But there was still one thing that kept him uneasy. His knees often stiffened up after sitting. Even if he sat for just 15 minutes, he'd have to twist his torso a bit before he could walk smoothly again. I drink milk regularly, he told his doctor at a follow-up. I take my calcium supplements too, but my joints still feel stiff. The doctor smiled and asked, Well, are you getting your calcium to the right place? Mr. Harold blinked confused. He had always assumed that taking calcium was enough. But the doctor explained, calcium doesn't automatically go to your bones. Without vitamin K too, most of it can end up in the wrong places. Your arteries, soft tissues, even your joints. That's why, despite supplementing properly, Mr. Harold's joints still felt rigid and lacked flexibility. Vitamin K2 acts like a traffic coordinator. It activates special proteins that direct calcium to your bones and keeps it from collecting where it doesn't belong. Without K2, the body becomes like a city with traffic jams. Calcium gets stuck in the wrong lanes, causing stiffness, heaviness, and over time, aching joints, poor posture, and brittle bones. Mr. Harold didn't have to change much. He simply added 1 small spoonful of grass-fed butter to his breakfast each day, a simple food naturally rich in vitamin K2. Some days he used ghee clarified butter that's gentle on digestion and pleasantly smooth. About 3 weeks later, he noticed something small, yet meaningful. He could stand up after sitting without needing to rotate his hips or adjust his legs. His knees felt less stiff, and his back, which he hadn't even realized was starting to hunch, stood a little straighter when he walked. Vitamin K2 isn't often talked about, but for those over 60, it's the quiet guide that helps your nutrients reach the right destinations. Mr. Harold didn't need to feel young again. He just needed his body to stop making him guess before every step. And once his legs knew where to go, he no longer felt lost inside his own body. Part 6. Magnesium, Mrs. Jean, and the peaceful legs that let her sleep. Mrs. Jean didn't lose sleep over worries or regrets. She lost sleep because of her legs. For months now, around 2 or 3 in the morning, she'd be jolted awake by a familiar and frustrating sensation, a cramp in her calf, like an invisible wire twisting tight around the muscle. She'd rub it, stretch it out, and sit up, breathing through the discomfort, before lying back down. Sometimes she'd fall asleep again, only to be woken an hour later, this time by the other leg. "I'm not running marathons," she often joked, but my legs seemed to be protesting all night long. During the day, she stayed active, with gentle movement, and ate a balanced diet. But at night, her legs seemed to have a mind of their own, refusing to let her rest, and it was wearing her down, not just physically, but emotionally too. At a follow-up visit, her doctor asked more about her sleep. When she described the nighttime cramps, he suggested testing her magnesium levels. Sure enough, her results came back low. Magnesium is a quiet mineral, but it plays a critical role in helping muscles relax, calming the nervous system, and supporting healthy circulation. When levels are too low, the body becomes prone to cramps, tingling limbs, and frequent sleep disturbances caused by muscle tension or restlessness. Her doctor didn't prescribe anything fancy. He simply suggested she add a small spoonful of pumpkin seeds to her diet each day, sprinkled over porridge mixed into yogurt, or just eaten on their own after dinner. Within 10 days, Mrs. Jean experienced her first full night of uninterrupted sleep in months. No cramps, no early morning leg pain, no sitting up in the dark to rub aching muscles. "I don't know if it's the seeds," she said with a smile, "but my legs feel calm, and I feel calm too." Magnesium won't make you faster. It won't give you stronger legs overnight, but it works quietly in the background, soothing your muscles, helping your legs rest when they need to, so that in the morning you can take your next step without carrying the fatigue of the night before. For Mrs. Jean, that was the one thing she needed most: a full night's sleep and a pair of legs finally at peace. Part 7. Vitamin E. Mr. Walter and the return of light steps. After his knees had loosened up, and his mornings no longer began with rubbing sore joints, Mr. Walter started walking in the park again. At first, it was just one slow loop around the lake, then 2, then 3. But something kept bothering him. Why did his legs tire so quickly? It wasn't the kind of fatigue that came from weakness. It was heaviness. He described it as walking, with invisible sandbags strapped to his calves. A dull tingling would settle in his lower legs, sometimes turning icy cold even under the warm sun. On some afternoons, he'd take off his shoes and notice a slight swelling around his ankles, as if his body was holding on to something it couldn't quite let go of. He asked his doctor about it. After ruling out more serious concerns, like vein issues or heart problems, the doctor gently said, "I think you might need more vitamin E." Vitamin E might sound unfamiliar, but it's key to something very basic: blood circulation. When the body lacks vitamin E, blood vessels can lose their elasticity, and circulation slows down, especially in areas far from the heart, like the calves and feet. The result: muscles don't receive enough oxygen or nutrients, making the legs feel tired, numb, or heavy even after light activity. As always, Mr. Walter kept things simple. Each morning he added a small spoonful of wheat germ oil to his smoothie. Sometimes he stirred it into oatmeal. Other times he simply drank it straight, followed by a slice of toast. Within 2 weeks he noticed the difference. He could walk longer without that sudden leg fatigue. Cold weather didn't make his calves go numb anymore. And the tiniest improvement, but one that made him smile: his socks slipped on more easily. No more swollen ankles tightening around the cuffs. Vitamin E won't make you run faster, but it helps blood flow smoothly and steadily so that each step feels lighter. No heaviness, no icy tingles, no unexpected fatigue. For Mr. Walter, it meant returning to the park with confidence, to the bench by the lake, to the old friend he hadn't seen in months, to shared smiles from 2 people walking side by side, no longer worried they'd have to stop halfway. Conclusion: the steps that still remain. As we move into our 60s, 70s, or 80s, life doesn't take everything from us all at once. Instead, it quietly pulls away the smallest things. First, our flexibility, then our sense of control, and finally the trust we once had in our own 2 legs. But the stories of Mr. Harold, Mrs. Jean, and Mr. Walter remind us we don't have to accept this as an unavoidable truth. Weakness is not always the end. Sometimes it's just a signal, a quiet call to return to our bodies and care for them in ways that may seem small, but matter deeply. A spoonful of cod liver oil in the morning, a sprinkle of nutritional yeast over warm porridge, a handful of pumpkin seeds, a pat of grass-fed butter, or a dash of wheat germ oil stirred into a glass of water. Nothing flashy. No help required, but done gently, done daily. These small acts helped each of them reclaim the most vital thing: the ability to walk with calm, with confidence, and with trust in their own strength. Because in the end, the power of aging isn't about speed or distance. It's about rising without hesitation, stepping out the door without fear, and keeping your feet strong enough so your heart still feels alive. Growing older doesn't mean staying still. If you can still walk, then walk. And if your legs begin to falter, don't rush to blame age. Ask instead, what is my body missing? And start there. Start with yourself. Start today. If this story resonates with you, leave a comment below. We read every message, and your words might be just what someone else needs to keep going. And if you want to keep learning gentle, powerful ways to live well and deeply in your later years, subscribe to ElderlyTV. We'll be right here every week, walking with you step by step.